But what if the Niners don't make the playoffs? Does that even cross 49er fans' minds right now?
No.
Should it?
No.
Why?
Because as long as the quarterback stays healthy and the head coach is here, they make the playoffs.
Is it just the quarterback?
And they win games.
They make the playoffs without McCaffrey?
See, now that's a great question because I keep asking these guys. Like, we're talking a lot about Brock Purdy and the big questions on his year. To me, the number one question is how many more prime years do you have of CMC? That's the number one question on
Trent Williams.
To me, that's
Trent Williams getting up there.
Well, Trent, but like I've seen left tackles, Whitworth, for example, play high level late in their career at an older age. Like Jason Kelce is a great example. He played better football toward the end of his career. But CMC is, to me, the engine of the offense because this is a run-first team. So if you're asking me, like, what has changed dramatically in 2 years? It's adding CMC. He's one of the greatest players. He's literally walking into the Hall of Fame the second his career's over.
So we don't even it's fascinating. It is a credit to Shanahan and Lynch and what they've done with this organization that it doesn't even cross our minds anymore. The playoffs are inevitable. We already believe we're a playoff team. We already believe that, when the Niners sent out their thing to season ticket holders, hey, you want to sign up for playoff tickets, get your playoff tickets. We're already bought in, right? Everybody feels like they're bought in. But what if things do happen? Because this feels like a lot of Michael Silver's writing about it in his Chronicle. The last dance, the last dance, the last run with Debo.
Can't be the last
George
dance
Kittle.
if you've never actually been to the dance
or won the
won,
dance.
Won the dance. Yeah,
you got to win the dance before it's the last dance.
Is that what they give out an award at the end of the dance?
Maybe it's the last ride with Debo and friends. Who knows? But you can ill afford to lose Fred Warner. God forbid we lose Fred Warner for a period of time. I don't even like talking that into existence.
Well,
if there's any Niner fan, because they Super Bowl losers do have the hangover.
Well, look,
they do regress.
Look at Cincinnati, right? So 9 out of 10 times people would have said Cincinnati playoffs, right? And then they start the year with the calf injury with Burrow, and then he gets hurt in the middle of the year. They had no chance. And their backup quarterback did play well for a couple of games. Remember Jake Browning? They actually did get some production out of their backup quarterback. And yet, because the AFC is so loaded, they had no chance. They just had no chance to make the playoffs. So, yeah, if you lose your quarterback, you're screwed 9 times out of 10. The only guy that I could see them losing, and it's almost a lock they don't make the playoffs, would be Brock Purdy. Even more so than CMC, because of all the positions I know the Shanahan family can find a way to offset production over the aggregate. It's not going to be one guy. It's going to be multiple guys.
Right.
It would be the running back position because of this family's history.
Josh Dobbs ain't doing it for you.
I just think the drop off between Purdy and Josh Dobbs is tremendous.
I'm kidding.
I thought going into the year that the drop off between Purdy and Darnold wasn't that much. And then as the year went on, I was like, yeah, I'm way wrong on that. I want to amend my opinion.
Let's get to Dacre and then Uncle Gene real quick, because I think this is fascinating stuff. I really do with the schedule and what Brock Purdy's going to get on the market. I guess my question is to everybody cool giving Brock Purdy $170 million guaranteed? It's all fine and dandy? We have a problem because when the conversation shifts to Brandon Aiyuk, it's, let's get a couple second-round picks for him. It's all good. We'll replace a wide receiver. Lord knows it's been tough to replace wide receivers. But we don't have a problem with Brock Purdy and $170 million. And we have a bit of an issue with Aiyuk wanting generational money. This is what's Jared Goff now, the highest paid quarterback? Second highest paid quarterback?
I think Burrow still has the highest yearly salary average.
So you guys are ready to give Brock Purdy top 5 quarterback money.
What's the alternative?
But refuse to give Brandon Aiyuk top 10 wide receiver money. It's kind of interesting to me.
Well, I mean, what are there more of in the NFL? Good wide receivers or good quarterbacks?
There's really good receivers. I'll give you that.
There's a lot of
good wide receivers, but obviously not everybody can play a Shanahan system, right?
Well, yeah, but I'd say the same thing about quarterback.
He's won with Jimmy. He didn't like Jimmy.
Yeah, but he didn't win with Nick Mullins. He didn't win with C.J. Beathard. He didn't win with Brian Hoyer. He didn't win with Trey Lance.
He thought he could win with Nick Mullins, though.
Yeah, well,
Kyle thinks differently.
Kyle
thinks differently.
He pivoted off that opinion quickly.
he thinks differently. Let's go to Dacre.
Possibly.
Wow.
I just don't see what a better alternative is to not paying Brock Purdy.
Jared Goff, his deal includes $73 million signing bonus, the largest in NFL history. Wow. Damn. Daker. Go ahead, Daker. Floor is yours.
All right. This is the way. I'm just going to keep it 100% here. People got to get real. Look at how many times we had to run to the left side because the right side wasn't doing its job. And that goes back to before McCaffrey. Why did we have to keep Kittle up for blocking? Because the right side isn't doing its job. Brock went to the NFC Championship, then the Super Bowl, with a very young right side, which realistically none of us should have thought that it was even going to happen, because when you get to the Super Bowl, you're facing the best of the best. And the way I see it, if we get our right side better, if they take the next step or some of these draft picks pan out, we will be even better, and our counter plays will be effective on both sides. So people questioning Brock, to me, they're just hating, because what he's doing from what was expected, he's a blessing. And it's downright disrespectful.
Dankford, is it okay for us to question whether or not we're comfortable with giving a quarterback $170 million? We've seen it for 1 year. Brock's been really, really good. I don't discredit his season. He's a top 3 MVP candidate. Hell, I thought this offense was as dynamic as any offense I've seen in 30 years. But is it hating when we're just kind of like, I don't know about $170 million when you know what that means for the entire football team?
What other quarterback has produced like he has the last 2 seasons?
For the 49ers? Under Kyle Shanahan?
For any team.
Jimmy Garoppolo had a pretty damn good 2019. I know we don't want to say. I know we don't want to say this, but Jimmy Garoppolo sat out at least 5 fourth quarters in 2019 and damn near threw for 4,000 yards.
I've been calling Jimmy Garbo from day one.
Okay,
I know all this. He wasn't worth it from day one. But Brock is. But Brock goes through all of his reads. I know we're on the same side. I'm just passionate about it because it's like really weird to me, the effectiveness. Like, Brock goes through every read. Jimmy was known to go through 1 or 2.
All right, so we're cool. We're paying Brock Purdy $170 million. That's 49. I'm looking at YouTube right now. Admin honored. Purdy deserves $170 million. Period. I guess there's no conversation there, Shasky.
I mean, they're going to pay.
I'm not even hating. I'm just asking a question. I got no. And there's people out there think I got a problem with Brock Purdy. I told you guys last offseason. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
forget that. Forget what they think. I want to ask you this. Let's go down the path, the alternative path. Okay, they are hesitant for whatever reasons to pay Brock Purdy. Now, what's your alternative?
Out of options, right? Unless something happens,
you can franchise,
or you can franchise. Stafford's unhappy in L.A.
So you think they go a different route at quarterback?
No. We don't know what Shanahan's thinking. Shanahan pivots so damn fast. He pivots so fast.
I've kind of come to the realization they don't really have a backup. I like that. Look, if you're the biggest Brock hater on the planet, okay, I ask you, what's the alternative then for the 49ers?
Right now, there isn't one right now.
There isn't one. You don't get rid of good quarterbacks. And look, can you play the, hey, we'll franchise tag you, hey, we'll go down that route? Yeah, but then all the money is locked in for that particular year, and you can't wiggle out of it. So even if they give him a 5-year deal with 2 or 3 years worth of guarantees, really, it's like the Jimmy G. It's like a 2 or 3 year deal.
Right. Look,
and I think he's earned that much as of right now. So unless someone could present me with an alternative option
right now
or pathway, I think this is where they're going.
At this moment, there's no alternative, right? Because we don't know how the season's going to play out. We don't know who's going to be available next offseason after the season plays out. That's the beauty of the NFL. We don't know how the schedule's going to play out. We don't know what the parity's going to look like. We don't know who's going to be strong in the NC West yet. We're all guessing. This is all a guessing game right now. But what if Stafford is unhappy? The reports are saying, he wants new money and blah, blah, blah. What if he is unhappy and Shanahan had an epiphany for him? It's like, Stafford's available? Well, let me go to the beach house or go have dinner real quick. I'll get back to you.
So that's a 38-year-old Stafford replacing a 24-year-old Purdy?
Hell, they asked about Tom Brady last year. He's 45 years old.
That feels
it's Brady.
That feels a little crazy.
But the report came out. Shanahan told Purdy, if Brady's available, you're going to be on the bench, but I think it could be good for you to learn. Shanahan told him that. Tom Brady was out.
Brady's a little different. And because the elbow of Brock Purdy.
And the elbow. But he still looked at it. I don't know.
Who's had more great years, Brock or Aiyuk?
Aiyuk just had back-to-back 1,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard seasons.
I think you could say both of them had great years.
Balled out.
Yeah, both of them had back-to-back great years. Right?
Career highs.
So, like, and I know you've been, pay Aiyuk. But why are we reluctant on the quarterback?
No, but it's fascinating. On the flip side, the way I'm looking at it is, why are we reluctant to pay Aiyuk and not reluctant to pay Brock Purdy?
Because to me, the way I build a team, the quarterback is infinitely more important than a wide receiver.
But you need the weapons, though. If you don't have the weapons, you're not going to ball out.
Yeah, but
we don't know if Brock Purdy can ball out yet without these weapons.
Weapons don't win Super Bowls.
They don't.
Quarterbacks do.
They could have used an extra weapon against Kansas City.
Well, that's obvious.
You know
what
I'm saying?
I watched. If you took the great teams over time, they've had many weapons. Whether it's Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Look at their weaponry changes over time, and the quarterback is the constant. So to me, the way I'm building a team is on especially a run-first team is head coach number one, most important. I want him to be the play caller. Who's his quarterback?
All right.
And then we'll work out the rest.
That's fair. I got no problem with that. But the vitriol over Brandon Aiyuk was just fascinating to me. It was like, this is Brock Purdy's number one guy. Like, who you set the thread? Who is it? Coach Madrid? Who had the thread if Brock Purdy's throws over 25 yards? How many of those was Brandon Aiyuk? He was all over that highlight package.
But I also think that if we look at the way the league is right now, right? Superstar wide receivers don't win championships.
They don't, but you need them to at least have a threat or a superstar in the pass game.
You got to have
Kansas City
players.
They didn't have Travis Kelce. They don't win that Super Bowl, but they do have Travis Kelce, who's a superstar, tight end, hybrid / wide receiver. Right?
Yes. But he's also making $15 million a year. Tyreek was looking for $32 million a year. And, it's better bang for your buck to pay a tight end one half of what one great receiver
Can we all
would
agree,
give.
though? Mahomes is the exception to the rule.
Yeah, but I also see, Buffalo's doing the same thing. They got rid of a high-priced wide receiver and went cheap in that area. Like, the way the model is now, we've talked so much about, it's either rookie quarterback, elite weapons on the outside, or max quarterback, rookie or, rookie deal players on the outside, and maybe you pay one of those primary playmakers.
Maybe. Let's go to the lines. Uncle Gene in Oakland, real quick. Uncle Gene, we got time here. I forgot. We got a break at 9:12. Uncle Gene, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, guys. So first off, I don't know what you're on this morning, Bonte, but I'm willing to stand in a 3-hour line at CVS to get some myself. All right, anyways. Niners, listen, I know you've said a few times now that you keep going back to the Detroit game and the Green Bay game, the first half. But it's not how you start the games, Bonte. It's how you finish them. Mahomes' first half in the Super Bowl was terrible. All right, and you could argue that one of the worst first halves, first halves plus, in the history of the playoffs and in a Super Bowl was Tom Brady's against Atlanta. All right, and then he had his miraculous comeback.
That's a good point.
All right. Detroit and Green Bay were miraculous comebacks, and you put it all on Brock Purdy. Listen, I didn't think last year was our year yet because we didn't have the experience. Okay, I was still fearful of Mahomes, and sure enough, he came through. All right, this year is our year if we stay healthy and whole. Get Aiyuk, get Greenlaw back. We go 14-3, or no worse than 13-4.
I can't argue that. Other than the fact that it was Super Bowl or bust last season. We all identified this offense as the best offense the Niners would have since 94. I think most of us did. 30 points a game. They're going to blow people out. You got all these weapons, the best weaponry they've had in years. Both wide receivers, tight end, running back, and the quarterback with the head coach. And they did. It was a year. Hell, let Steve Young tell it. He joined Willard the Dibs the other day. Here's what Steve Young said about last year and the Niners' chance to win the Super Bowl.
The most pressure is last year, right? Because last year the Rams are down, the whole division's down, Seahawks are down, the Cardinals are way down. In the playoffs, you play a Packer team that's been middling the whole time. You got an upstart Lions squad. You're like, that's how we get to the Super Bowl, and then you play a down year Chiefs team. Like, of all the times that you're set up to do it, that was it. But since the Ravens at Christmas, we just weren't the same. And we held Patrick Mahomes to 19 points. You could have told me, look, Patrick Mahomes won't score 3 touchdowns. We're not going to win that game? Like, you're not going to walk over the Packers, you're not going to walk over the Lions. Like, things were haywire from Christmas on, and that's why last year was the time with the best roster in football to go get it done. And the fact is, it didn't happen. That happens. It happened to me. I get that. But now next year, I think the Rams will be better. I think Marvin Harris will make the Cards better. The Seahawks will be better. The Lions will be, the Packers will be better. Like, it's going to get better. And we're probably not, I don't know if we'll get better, but hopefully we can stay the same and still beat the rank and file with this amazing roster we have and the way that we are innovative, we deploy the guys on offense. Then, yeah, great. But what just happened was a big miss. It was too bad.
That's kind of where I'm at. It was a big miss, and everybody's going to be better. I'm not knocking Brock, but if there's a little regression, I don't want to say, hey, Brock's bad. I'm not going to do that. I expect a little regression. Last year was a fairy tale. It was a fairy tale type season for the 49ers offense.
So everyone could say last year was their window. That's an interesting part of his statement. What about the part where he said everything went haywire after Christmas? What do you think of that?
Went haywire after Christmas. Well, we talk about the playoff games. Somebody's pointed to me, hey, Bonte, you put in the playoff. Those are the big boys. Remember the Packers week, right?
They also didn't play week 18.
Yeah, they played Darnold and the Rams.
Only a couple guys played. Yeah. Some guys were mad that they had to suit up.
Right. I think Aiyuk was mad he had to suit up.
Right.
Or no, he was not mad about that. He was mad he didn't get one more catch or something.
It was Debo who was mad that he had to play.
Debo may have been mad.
Someone was mad they had to play.
So they lose the Rams. Haywire, Greenlaw, you mentioned Achilles tendonitis. You didn't know about Eric Armstead. They weren't getting much of a pass rush.
Debo got hurt in that Green Bay game.
He got hurt early in the Green Bay game.
Shoulder.
And I remember the week of the Green Bay game, we thought, okay, they beat Dallas, and they beat up on Dallas. Come on, Jordan Love's coming to Levi's, and they gave us all they could handle. Hell, had us very, very nervous in the fourth quarter. Very nervous. Kicker misses a kick. We all forget Carlson misses a kick. We can talk about luck, margins, and all that. He misses a field goal, which was a terrible decision. After Aaron Jones made a great run.
What did LaFleur say about him? He closes his eyes and prays whenever he kicks.
Yeah, it's basically.
Head coach.
I mean, they dropped 2 pick sixes, and it's not all on him. But Greg Olsen, you watched the game. You heard Greg Olsen and Kevin Burkhardt. What did you tell me? Keep it real, Shasky. After you called me watching that game, what did you tell me after listening to that broadcast after I had 6 clips?
Oh, they were thoroughly unimpressed with Brock Purdy in that game. But he made a couple. He made a couple plays down the stretch and came back and won.
He showed resiliency.
He was all over the place though for 3 quarters.
Tremendous credit for that.
All over the place.
Tremendous credit for that.
The first play of the second half could have been a pick.